Hello again to all the subscribers and viewers who are about to start watching this video. Let me tell you what it's about. A few days ago, I performed another repair on one of my vehicles, which was the replacement of the valve cover gasket, which we can see here. I have recorded the entire procedure and I'm going to share it in this video in case you have a similar situation, hoping that this video may help you. In a moment, I'll tell you why I carried out this repair, but first I want to talk about the vehicle model. This vehicle is a Mazda 3, year 2012 2.0 engine. Why am I telling you this? Because cars can vary from one model to another, and even from one year to the next in minimal ways. And it must be taken into account because if you try to perform this repair on another vehicle from another year or with a different type of engine but the same brand, you might find slight differences, or you might find that they are completely the same if you are lucky. This video is a bit long, so I'm going to divide it into several parts and I'll upload each part on the channel since, as I mentioned, it is very extensive because it covers the entire procedure. Having already mentioned this, let's move on to the reason why we are going to make the change. As you can see, the cover is full of oil, which means there is an oil leak around the entire cover or almost the entire cover. We can see the parts that are all wet with engine oil. We can see the back of the cover and we see how it is completely covered in oil, which has been seeping slowly because the gasket is already very worn. In this case, it's very much so because the engine oil hardens the plastics, so the gasket over time allows oil to pass through. In this case, it's towards the outside of the lid, and a few parts of the gasket that goes inside are supposed to prevent the oil that lubricates the cams from passing through. But because it's hardened, it allows oil to seep inside as well. We see how it moistens the spark plug. If we can see how it's wet with engine oil. Now let's take out another spark plug to compare them. There we can see the coils are dry, but in the future it may leak more oil and get wet, which will cause an unstable spark. Here we can see the other spark plug that is completely dry in comparison with the one we took out first, which is already wet with oil. As I tell you, this will cause an unstable spark because our spark plug and our coil will be contaminated with engine oil, and obviously the spark is not going to be the ideal health. This symptom of the oil leak that it had there on the valve cover, I had already detected it some time ago. This video is a bit old. I think I was waiting to upload it. I didn't upload it to the channel. And right now, because in these recent days is when I was finally able to carry out the repair and replace this gasket so that it wouldn't continue to get worse as it could have continued. continued leaking more oil towards the other spark plugs, towards the other three, wetting the four spark plugs, and well, we are going to have an unstable spark in the four spark plugs. We are going to start to have engine failure. So that is why, even though it took me a long time, but I decided to change it now to avoid that problem. Now, if we are going to take action, so let's start at the beginning of this gasket replacement procedure. So we have the engine that has its cover to cover it from the dust. So the first thing we are going to have to do is remove the lid, not that cover, the large cover on which it has the letters. We are going to remove it so we can have access to the coils and the screws that secure the cover the valves at the head of the engine. To remove this cover, we just pull it carefully, bring some insurance there, we will lift it. These are the insurances, a kind of hooks. These others that go there, this other one that goes in that part, and well, like that we remove it. We can see the coils, the valve cover. Many also know it as a target cover. We are going to have to remove the four coils to be able to remove the gear cover without any problem. You obviously have to remove those two little suckers. The rail, we do not have to remove injectors. It doesn't hinder us from removing the lid. We can see how it is wetter due to the lubrication of the trees of cams, and that the oil leaks to where there is a spark plug, and also this part here that I showed you a moment ago when I explained why. The reason for replacing the packaging, if we can observe the leak. As time passed, this became the most serious problem. Continues to be the oil spill edge of the cover by the contour of the valve cover, and also now he's already wetted from above. Oil has already started to be thrown at us through a new orifice where we connect the coil to the spark plug. I mean the part where the lid is, where it is poured oil. This part we see how one part is dry and the other is very wet and is motor oil. Okay. Continuing, we have to remove those screws. Some are covered by plastic straps that they are in charge of keeping the harness secured, but those are the screws that need to be removed, are the ones that will, we can see the entire contour of the cover there, one in the corner. In the back we have several on the other sides. Stand. On the right side of the cover we also have several, some that are hidden, so let's proceed to remove them in a few moments. Obviously you have to remove the rod to measure the oil or the dipstick, what I pointed out before. It was the PCB valve, and then we are going to lift it upwards with great force once all the screws. For the moment here I am going to leave the video, and in the next video we continue removing the valve cover screws.